Hey Scully, I have a question today.
Typical left drive vehicle.
Many moons ago, when I had to track someone down and ask them about right drive vehicles. For some reason, I've had this fascination for a long time with right drive vehicles versus left drive vehicles. And I looked and looked and looked. I even looked online. This is in the '90s when the internet still didn't have all of the answers. When you're driving a right drive stick shift, what order do the pedals in? Well, this person verified that indeed, I don't know how well you can see this, it's clutch, brake, gas. In a right drive vehicle, it's still clutch, brake, gas from left to right. And he said, wow, I don't think I could drive a car that wasn't in that order with your feet, even though it's all the same setup. If the pedals were reversed, it would take a lot of learning to get fixed. There's one more question I have that I cannot find the answer to about right drive vehicles. Let me do a little setup and I'm going to ask you. Well, it's about in driving in general, but it involves right and left-handed drive. Why isn't that window rolling down? Damn child safety lock crap. There we go. All right. First off, this is my wife's car. Oh, okay. Now, I can't tell you how many times I have seen people do this. They'll be driving, la-da-dee-da-da, and then they will reach over to do something with their hand, and they will literally slide their left hand over like this, and they will drive the car like so. I have seen people do this both when they're just talking and expressing themselves with their hand, when they're doing something, and I've even seen people just do it when they just want to lay their hand down. I've seen Natalie do it, I've seen my parents do it, I've seen umpteen of my friends drive like this with their left hand across their body. I have almost never seen anyone drive like this except when they are preparing for a turn that involves them cranking the wheel. Rarely have I seen them take their right hand and put it across. It's got to be the fact that most people are right-handed, and that for most people that is the dominant side of their body. I know the brains are reversed, but I'm not going there right now. We're talking about dominant sides of the body. So what I'm thinking is that the non-dominant side of their body is compensating for their dominant side of their body. So what I'm wondering is, does it happen in right drive vehicles? Do people that are typically right side dominant for their body ever drive across their body while their left hand, or their most likely non-dominant side of their body is doing stuff on the car? Do they compensate like this, or do they leave their hand on the dominant? They leave their dominant side of their body on the right side of the steering wheel while they do this. This is a right-handed question. I've always tried to make myself semi-ambidextrous. I've always tried to make sure I do things with my left hand, because when I was a kid, I broke this arm, and it was in a cast, and I found out what an invalid I was, even with just my right hand available. So when I got the cast off, I made sure to do as much as I could with my left hand, and I think that influenced me using the mouse left-handed. I'm right-handed, and I use the mouse left-handed, and at work there are 90-some people at the company, but only few of them qualify as left-handed. They write with their left hand. I consider that the litmus test. I really think I'm the only one in the company who uses the mouse left-handed. I know a lot of left-handed people, because I paid attention to this, who use the mouse right-handed, just because that's the way computers are set up. It doesn't make any sense, because even though they claim to have left-handed devices, they're still not left-handed. You still have to go into the settings and change the deals. Even when I use a mouse left-handed, I leave the mouse buttons the same, so it's my middle finger that I click with. And this screws me up when I go sit down at people's computers. I'm in IT, so I use a lot of different people's workstations. And even though you can use a mouse right-handed, I don't like to, because I have to think about it. I want to do this. And I've seen right-handed people do that with my mouse because they come into my area to change their password or whatever, and I'll see them do this with the mouse, and it drives me nuts. So that's getting off topic. So pay attention, somebody out there, how often other people drive. Don't pay attention to yourself doing this. Concentrate on driving. How often other people drive with their hand or their left hand across the steering wheel, and are they doing something over here? And does anyone have a better explanation that it's more than just their non-dominant side compensating for their dominant side? Does that make right drive, distracted driving, any more or less effective? Because yes, your right hand's on the steering wheel while you're probably doing stuff in the car with your non-dominant or left hand. Does that make you more likely to stay on the road or more likely to be distracted? Because your dominant side's having to tell your non-dominant side what to do while you're driving the car. Or is it better to have a left drive car where your right hand, well, yes, your dominant or right hand is dealing with the car, but your left hand is left to its own devices to drive the vehicle? All right, I prattled on about that a little bit too long, but anyway, you get the idea. I know I have some Australian listeners, so if y'all can help me out, I really appreciate it. Anybody who wants to chime in, please do. Thanks.